Well, in recent weeks, we've seen headlines from across the country about impacts nonprofits are feeling following a collection of executive orders from the Trump administration. Bottom line, many nonprofits should expect a loss of grants and partnerships from government organizations. While nearly all nonprofits do rely on donations, on average, about 1/3 of their funding comes from government sources. Well, Monday is the beginning of Idaho Gives. It's Idaho's largest days of giving. Joe Parris sat down with organizers to talk about how this campaign feels different this year. In fact, more important than ever.
The state of Idaho has 477 nonprofits that receive government grants to help power their commitment to communities. The total funding accounts for $643 million annually. Executive orders from the Trump administration are set to stop grants and government partnerships.
Nonprofits need Idahoans' support more than ever.
Ahead of Idaho's largest days of giving, Steve Burns, president and CEO of the Idaho Community Foundation, and Kevin Bailey, vice president, Impact, and Idaho Nonprofit Center, joined me on Viewpoint.
You know, there's just uncertainty, and people don't like uncertainty, right? No one likes uncertainty. I mean, obviously the stock market doesn't like uncertainty, and so there's just a lot of questions, and people are, and it's coming, I think, at them so fast that the pace of change is really hard to adapt to.
These are very small operations, community-based local operations, and a $500,000 grant, a $700,000 grant goes a tremendous amount of ways to meet and allow them to provide those services.
The impact of those services are felt in every community every day. Less money for keeping families off the streets and out of their cars at night, to less money for world-class art exhibits that enrich Idahoans.
Is it a tough situation in the sense that there's a lot of questions, but maybe not clear answers right now? I know that with some of the executive orders, some of them are going to be wrapped up in court for maybe years.
Absolutely. You know, the timing of it, I think that they're trying to understand, do some of these impacts direct us, our organization? Does it just impact the sector? You know, what's it going to do to our ability to fundraise?
Nonprofits are resilient and creative by nature, but there is a practical hurdle that change and uncertainty presents.
If you have a source of funding that it's cut, and you go, well, you could go raise money for it. It's not like you turn a spigot and just more money comes out, right? I mean, fundraising is about relationships. It's about establishing, you know, identifying people to have relationships with, and then cultivating those relationships over time.
The timing of Idaho Gives presents an opportunity for Idahoans to connect with causes that matter most to them. It's fair to say that the 2025 campaign will feel different for many nonprofits than it has in years past.
I think with the uncertainty and more nonprofits thinking we've got to increase our ability to fundraise, there's a bit more urgency of saying, you know, hey, let's really hope that we can get involved in Idaho Gives. Let's hope that we can you know, start to crank up that fundraising ability.
100% of your donation goes to that organization. They put their bank accounts into the portal. It all goes directly to them, right? Which is, and it's very quick. Within a couple of days, that transaction happens. So it is kind of instant gratification. These organizations are able to connect with those donors immediately.
And the Idaho Gives campaign begins on Monday. It'll run for 3 days, and we'll keep a close eye on it. Brian, this is a situation for nonprofits, not only here in Idaho, but across the country, where the uncertainty is making some of them question if they're going to be able to continue. It's one of these things where it's like, well, we don't want to put all of this pressure on the community to help us going. But at the same time, that is the reality. I mean, some of these nonprofits, they depend on the amount of money, the grants coming from the federal government as a part of their business model. And if that's not there, the question is, do we continue to exist?
And rely on more donations than ever. Exactly. All right. April 28th through May 1st. Idaho Gives next week. All right. Thanks, Joe.